Welcome to Crafty Little Beach. This is Julie. Today I have a Dollar Tree DIY for you. For this DIY, I wanted to make a spring fence sign complete with flowers using some of these little fence signs from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to combine two of these together with one of the long board signs, kind of the smaller version of that. So first I just need to remove the hangers here from the back. I do want this to be a hanging sign, but I don't need two sets of hangers because I'm going to have these little side by side to make a longer fence. So I am just taking those off on the back, using the Cricut weeder to get those little staples out there from the Dollar Tree and cleaning this up. I just want to do a white picket fence with this, and I want it to go all the way across like the background of the spring sign. So that looks pretty good. I've got those cleaned up. I do want them to be spaced out as well. So I'm going to have a little gap between them, and then I'm also going to put this little board side underneath of it like that so I can add some more things to the bottom. To space it out, I'm just going to use a popsicle stick. It's about the same width as the board that connects the little palette board sign together. And so I'm just going to use scissors to cut out a couple little pieces of that. To just use hot glue here on the back, and we can glue these together, making a longer fence sign. I want to use some of those wooden flowers from the Dollar Tree to do a really fun flower display, but I don't want to cover up the entire fence. That is why I'm adding the board side underneath of it. And there is room here under the brace where I can just glue this thinner sign on. I don't care that it has holes in it. That's all going to be covered up with my little faux garden. I want this fence just to look like a classic white picket fence. So just using a brush and some white acrylic paint, we are going to paint this. I'm not going to paint the sign below. I'm going to have it be like grassy and green. And so I guess you could paint it green, but I really couldn't see any of the original board through it. So I think it's good as is. As for the top, I did do a second coat of white just to make it really pop. And then I am going to make a new hanger here in the back, just taking some twine, knotting it, and using my staple gun. It's plenty thick here with the doubled up board here on the back of the sign. And I just do the same thing here on the other side, just making a new hanger for this project. I do want it to be a hanging little fence sign. These are the flowers that I'm going to use for the front of it. There are different kinds of these, as you can see, and I'm going to use different kinds, but for what I'm actually doing with it, I don't know if it really matters if you have different ones or not. I thought it would be fun to leave like the stem and the leaves on here and kind of replace the flower with a faux flower from the Dollar Tree. So for the leaves, I want them to be green. I'm just using acrylic leaf green paint, and I just went over them with one coat, and I do want them to have a little bit of lines and stemming and texture. So I just go over it with a paint pen. It's a little bright. I thought that the leafy green would mute it down a little bit. I do have to add some more details to that later. The first flower we're going to use is this one. It's pink with a yellow center. I wanted to do like a pink and yellow, maybe a little bit of a white theme for the flowers on this display. So I thought this would be perfect for the center. And then I can do one of the same thing on each side. If you had three different ones, that would be great. I just really think the colors need to kind of coordinate. Now, in case you can see any of the flower behind it, I just went ahead and painted all of them pink. You're really not going to be able to see anything, probably except for some of the very edges, but I wanted to make sure that you couldn't see just the raw wood back there. And then I just take the back off of the flower, cutting the stem off. I want this to be as flat as possible when I glue this to the wooden flower. And the stem and the flower are not connected at this point, but using hot glue, I just went ahead and attached it all together. Now, I really like this. I really like the colors. The only problem is I thought the flower was a little too big. It kind of overpowered the stem and the leaves. You couldn't really see them. So I'm just going to cut them down shorter. The petals, it was really easy to do. I just folded them in half and cut a curved pattern to give me that great shape that they had before. And this way it's just going to make it a little bit smaller. The other flowers that I chose for the other two were the right scale. So this was the only one that I had to do this to, but I think it really made a difference to kind of scale that down a little bit. These are the flowers that I want to use for each side. These are like pink and yellow and kind of ivory color. I'm going to choose 2 of them that are about the same size, and just like before, I'm going to peel the back off of them. I don't normally do that because it does make the flower fall apart, but I needed these to be super flat. So I attach it with hot glue here, trying to make sure the center is kind of bunched up on these, and some extra hot glue to help keep the flower together. I think that one looks pretty good. I like the fact that the colors are the same, but the flowers look completely different for a little variety for this spring sign. And then I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side, take it apart, cut the stem off, and attach it with hot glue. I did think about using some of the leaves from the plants from the Dollar Tree to replace that part too, but that would really cover up everything that was on these little wooden flowers, and I don't want to do that. I just like that addition of the flowers, I think. So I'm just going to use hot glue and attach our center flower right here in the middle, gluing it to the fence, not really to that bottom sign part. And then do the left flower here. I'm going to line them up pretty even all the way across, and that way the fence can peek out above them and I still have room to decorate underneath. For the grass, I'm just using some reindeer moss from the Dollar Tree. You could also use that faux Easter grass they have right now at Dollar Tree Plus. That would be really cute too. And I kind of went back and forth about which one I should use. I'm not sure. I like it like this, but I think it would look really good with the grass as well. So just using one bunch at a time, I'm trying to make sure that it's not super thick. I don't want to waste any of the moss. I just want a thin coat all over to make it look like it's greenery. Not necessarily just moss, but just green and filling it up like it is in a garden. And I go around all of the flowers just like that. Now I want to make sure you don't see this bare sign here at the bottom. So I did use some smaller pieces and go in and make sure everything's covered there as well. I think it's looking really cute so far. I'm going to give it a quick trim. And I want to add a little bit more spring to the sign. I know it's already got a lot, but I think we can add some more. The first thing I noticed, I didn't really like the green color of paint pen that I used for the lines. So I'm just using a little bit more of that leaf green paint and acrylic and a baby wipe to kind of wipe off the excess to see if I could get a little bit of it to come through. But again, keeping that leafy texture and less of the Christmas green color. I was only so successful with that. I do have to add some more details. And then I wanted to add some little spring bugs to our garden. I have some of the red ladybugs, the wooden ladybugs from Dollar Tree, and I added one there to the fence. And I think I'll add another one maybe over here on a leaf. I want to add like ladybugs and bees and different things that you would see in spring. So this is the bee I'm going to use. It's one of the wired bees off of this little chime that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's great because it has the wire attached to it to make it look like the bee is flying. I just use a pair of pliers and take that off the little wind chime. It's a super cute little bee. And I can have that like maybe come out of the fence just like that. I wrap the wire around the back and just using my staple gun to attach it. It's the easiest way. And that looks pretty good. You can kind of mold it the way that you want it, have it flying out there like it's getting ready to land on a flower. Then for the base, I thought I would add a few more flowers, but this time some smaller flowers. So I picked up these little wildflowers from the Dollar Tree in pink and white, and they come apart pretty easily. You can just pull the flower off, and I'm just going to hot glue that and push it down into the reindeer moss. I noticed the pink stem was a little bit longer, so I did trim them a little bit before I glued them to make sure I could get them nice and close. And then these flowers are like white with a little yellow center, so I thought some of those would be really cute as well. And we're gonna just glue some of those down into the moss as well. Now for the details on the green leaves. I already have everything put together, but I just used a green Sharpie and a little bit more lines here. It's a more neutral color, and I think this turned out pretty good. I did have this little ladybug in the way already. I just kind of took it off and put it back on. It has some double-sided tape on there. And then to make it not completely blend in to the green reindeer moss, I decided to go around the edges with my fine-tipped white paint pen and just do a very rugged, very tiny border just to help that pop the green against the green like that. I don't want it to all blend in. I want it to look like there's stems and leaves on each one of these flowers. Now I decided to move a few things around. I didn't really like the ladybug up on the fence, so I'm going to move it down here into the moss. And I thought I might have had too many flowers, so I'm just going to remove another flower on that side. And then I thought it'd be fun to have a little grass element too. This is from some of the greenery that we were using there, and it had a little sprig of onion grass on there. So I just cut off a couple, like 3 or 4 inches of it, and hot glue that down into the moss. For this second one, I'm gonna have to kind of thin these a little bit. I just trimmed their edges, making them skinnier, so they'll be more similar to the grass on the other side because they get wider as they go down on these. And then again, cut off about the same amount of this grass. And I'm gonna glue this down to the moss on this side. I thought it'd be fun to have at least a little bit of grass peeking out of the garden. And just another little fun detail, I think that this sign really screams spring. It's so bright and colorful. It's not super large. You could fit this just about anywhere. And look how pretty that looks. I think that using the faux flowers from the Dollar Tree is it's going to give me a way better look than anything I could have painted on those wood flowers. But I think it's really cute, and I love all the little fun touches like the ladybugs and the bee. Super fun, and I had so much fun putting this together. I hope you enjoy the spring DIY.